Alright, what's up, rhyming gaijin? To be liked or to be right? That's a tough question. I don't know the answer, and I don't know the answer. All I know is, in my experience of being alive, usually when I'm right, I am not liked. And when I'm liked, I appear wrong, if that makes sense. A lot of my mentors with the music and stuff, they might tell me something that is clearly wrong. You know, they're older than me. Not that that matters, but, you know, I'm always reading up on whatever's happening now. They might know what they knew, but, you know, I'm like, now. So, I remember telling someone, you know, Twitter's gonna take off. Like, I was always into these new texts, right? So I'm like, yeah, Twitter's gonna be cool. And I heard them say, why would Twitter be cool? And they're like, ah! And look where it is now. Now, I'm not saying I invested in stocks in Twitter, because I wouldn't be teaching English if that was the case. All I knew was, you know, the only reason I even knew about Twitter is because I was following some, who is it? It doesn't matter who it was, but some YouTuber, a big YouTuber, and she had a Twitter. And I remember her saying in her video, yeah, you watch me do this. I was like, why would anybody do that? But I had a Twitter. I made an account like 30,000 years ago. Anyway, to be right or to be liked, it really depends on the type of person that you are. Me, I don't need to be liked all the time. Shit, hate me. In fact, I tell people that. Like, here's some of the situations where I don't need to be liked. I took a long time to learn how to get my YouTube on. You know, I read some books, a lot of trial and error, a lot of studying, and, you know, 5 years later, I'm here. Now, when I'm trying to introduce people to YouTube, I don't give them any shortcuts. I basically give them the, you got to make your channel, you got to make your videos, you got to do. I give them a steps. And, you got to do all this shit. I teach them how to edit the videos. You got to edit the videos. I don't do it for them because they're not going to learn. And they might ask questions like, well, I said, why are you asking me for, man? Google that shit. Because the information is there. You know. So they don't like me for that. Like, oh man, you just don't want to tell me. No, I don't want to tell you. I want you to learn a little bit. I'll help you get further. Just I need you to show that initiative that you want to do it. Back in the day, I bought some beat machines, and I would read the manuals front to back, back to front. I didn't even know what the hell it was. I didn't understand the terminology, but I read it and read it again and read it again and read it again, and then I practiced it. So at some point, I started being able to make beats. So then my boys would come over like, oh yeah, yo, how you make a beat? And I would take the book and I'd say, here's how you make a beat. They said, what's it? I said, that's the manual. And they'd be like, you're not going to tell? No, I'm not going to tell you. They're like, here's the manual. He said, that's messed up. Nah. So I'm right. I believe I'm right. If they want to learn it, they should read it. But they didn't like me so much for that. And, you know, as time would go on, they eventually stopped working with me. And I carried that with me for the past 15 years. That kind of... And it doesn't get me anywhere. So, you know, where all this is coming from, you know, I'm not Simon from American Idol. You know, he already got $1 million and he already got all these super groups. So he could tell people what's right. And they might not like it, but he's Mr. I do all this shit. Me, I'm trying to work my way up. And I just be pissing people off left and right. Because I'm right. You know, I pick my battles, but, you know, I'll be quick to tell somebody, you know, that's not going to work because it says in this book about starting a business that you got to write down a business plan and you didn't write one down. That means your chances of success are like this. And they'd be like, doesn't matter, I don't need to write nothing down because, you know, Like I'm just saying what the book said. It says that so many businesses did it, and they don't want to hear that, or you know, and and that's just how it is, right? And then then every now and then, my girlfriends do this. They kind of tell you stuff. I don't want to hear her tell me shit, man. I'm like, I'm buying a new book. It's like, do you really need another book? Like, yes, I need another book. I need to read, man. I need to get my head filled with all this information. It's like, no, you should save. Like, I don't want to save. I want to buy a book. And she keeps talking. I'm like, hey, leave me alone. She's right. I don't need another book. But, doesn't matter. I'm going to get the other book. And, she won't like that. And that's that. So pick your battles. And this is a hard video to make. I made 3 versions of it because I really don't know. All I know is what I do, and up till now it hasn't really gotten me much. I know what I know, and I stand for what I stand for. And it's hard. Like 16 years ago, my dad was yelling at me about not having a car. He said, you're 17 years old, you should have a car. And I'm like, nah, I don't want a car because I want to get my musical equipment so I can make music. He didn't really think music would go anywhere, so he always told me that. I'm like, nah, you just got to believe. You got to put your all into it. I didn't say it like that, but I'm like, this is what I'm going to do. And, every week or every month, I would buy a new piece of equipment. And every month he'd be like, oh, he got some more expensive junk. When I say expensive, I was getting Tritons and all this shit. So, on this day, I was like, I got a new summer job. It was like pretty far out there. It was at a factory. I was going to make some overtime and some double time. And I could do double shifts. I work. It's in my blood. So, I remember asking my dad, can you take me to work? And my dad says, huh, because he has to be right. So he said, huh, you don't got no car. Actually, that's not how my dad talks. He says, you don't have a car? If you had your own car, you could drive yourself to work. Huh. And now you're asking me. Huh. He just kept saying it. I was like, okay, whatever. And I didn't say this, but mentally I said, I don't like you anymore. I didn't say that, but I was like, you know what? Okay, fine. I don't need your ride. And then for the rest of that summer, that day I walked to work like this. When you're angry, you just, literally it was like an hour away. I'm just, but then I got my music up. And then a couple years later, my brother's like, why do you like walking so much? Because that's quiet time. And then people ask me, how do you live in Japan? Because I don't speak, I speak a little Japanese. Well, actually, I speak more of that, but it's not my language. So I could be somewhere and it could be loud. Everyone's just talking. I don't hear it. It's actually peace and quiet, as if there was nobody there. And I could actually think. I could write lyrics. I'd write lyrics at school. I'd literally be like, repeat after me. And then the teacher will start doing her thing and I just zone out and just start. It's a beautiful thing. That's why I like being in Japan, in case you didn't know. Anyway, so I walk to work. It's peaceful time. It's an hour every day. I get my practice on. So, but anyway, my dad was right, but I didn't like it. Therefore, he wasn't liked. And he didn't change how I felt. He could be right, but it doesn't matter. Now, all that did was made our relationship more difficult because, when it rained, shit, can I get a ride? But I'm not asking. So I would walk to work in the rain. Well, I was taking a bus, but, I'd walk to the bus in the rain like, man, Tom's dad takes him to work. Shit like that. So then when I would come home, it's not going to be, hey, Dad. They'd be like, hey, what's up? hey mom, because mom's cool. But yeah, so I think being right sometimes makes things not right, and being liked is a way to make things right. Do you follow me? I mean, to be right. So say there's something you believe in, and you want someone to believe in. You want someone to agree with you, right? So, you can ask, and they might say no. I think at that point, most people feel some kind of discontent, some kind of feeling, some emotion like, oh man, he doesn't agree with me. I feel bad. I feel sad, disappointed, depressed, some negative feeling. Because who really wants to go around having people tell them, no, I don't agree with you, you're wrong. So I think this is a human thing. So, people don't like that. So then you go about trying to change the other person's mind. Well, you should do this because, man, you could use facts. Because in 1936, you can use a situation. Well, just imagine. You could use force. Well, if you don't do this. You could use tears. Oh, come on. There's a lot of ways to make someone change their mind. But usually, if that person is not changing their mind because they want to, such as, this is my friend and I really care about him, so I'm going to try my best to empathize with what he's saying. If that's not the situation, or, that person experiences the same thing, so, parents and kids always get into it. But then when the kids have kids, then they kind of, that's what you were saying when you're, and then they can kind of bond on a new level. So my brother and I were 7 years apart. For the longest time we didn't really, we were 7 years. But then I got older, and then we kind of just, so yeah, stuff like that. But I think it's important to, assess the situation. If it's not life-threatening. Like I had an ex girlfriend from college, right? And she always had to be right. And I'm like, pick your battles, because I like a nice debate. Because I think that's how you get to know a person. When it's all like, hey, how you doing? You don't know the person. All you know is when times are good, shit's good. But when it's bad, that's when you know who they are, when you got nothing. When you're sick on the bed throwing up, and if they're there wiping your forehead and wiping the throw up from your mouth and saying, I ain't leaving you, then that's how you know. So a nice fight will get you that pulls it out of people. Now in my experience, when we get into a fight, most people will do probably 3 things. One, they'll just keep talking. Like, you could tell someone the truth and they just don't want to listen to it. Like, nah, you just don't understand. You see, and they could go back, see, where I'm coming from, or, a couple years ago, or, and I don't care what happened to you a couple years ago. I don't care where you're coming from. I'm talking about right here and right now. But it doesn't matter, because in their mind, if they feel they're like back there. So when I was growing up, if that's where their mind's at, how are you going to change it? You're never going to come to a conclusion, because their mind's there. They need to jump to the future, jump to the present. Or they break down, they start crying. Guys don't cry, but guys do what they do, and they just, communication breaks down. And the third one, yeah, you're right. They just give in. Too easy, yeah, you're right. Yeah. If you want to fight for this, come on. If you believe something, let me know. But they don't. And then, So, where I'm at with this now, this is a journey. So for the longest time, I had to be right. Especially when I go through, if I make a CD, press it up, write the lyrics, I make the CD, right? And then I stand on the corner and I'm like, buy my CD, buy my CD, right? And I only sell 0. Yeah, I don't sell anything. And then someone comes along like, hey, I'm gonna make a CD and make millions of dollars. And I'm like, no, you're not. They're like, why would you say that? Because you're not. Why would you say that? Because you're not. Because I didn't. I did it. I was on the street doing it. You. And this person, they're not going to like me. They're going to be like, you just hating. You just mad because you do. I mean, what I should do is start carrying around all my accolades. You see, there's my 15 CDs right here. All my CDs. You know? But I wouldn't do that. I learned from my mistakes. I don't want to carry them with me. But I'd rather be liked. Because then I can actually help. All I'm saying is, you know, it's going to be difficult to sell CDs. I'm not telling them not to sell CDs. But by me being right, I effectively cut them. This is how I feel. I stop them from pursuing their desire of selling CDs. Who knows? We don't know. For all I know, maybe when they're standing on the corner on that day, they can sell like 3 CDs. One gets passed off to Paul McCartney. Don't know why I said that name. I think I read about him in a book today. And that guy will give it to some other guy, and that guy will give it to some other guy. And the next thing you know, he's getting a phone call, and then he goes up the ladder of success. And then he turns around and says, hey man, I know you got 15 CDs. You're with me. You telling me all this. Why don't you come with me? And then together we ride off into the sunset on a horse. But because I was like, nah, you can't do it. And then he's just, okay, I won't try. And you know, I don't want to be a part of that. So to be right, shit, even people hurting themselves. A dude punching the wall for no apparent reason. I want to say don't punch the wall because the wall's gonna win. You know, you're gonna be the one with the broken fist, not the wall. You know, the wall's gonna be telling his wall friends, man, yo Wally, what up, Wall? I mean, they all got the same name. Man, dude was punching me, but you know, in the end, I broke his fist. And Wally's gonna be like, wow, Wall, that's what's up. And Wally is gonna be like, yes, that is. You know. So yeah, to end this, because you know I could go on and on and on and on and on. To be right or to be liked, it depends on you. I think a person can get much further if they work on being liked. You could always be right, but you don't have to. Like last situation, you know, babies, you know, babies just need to eat, poop, and sleep. Now, you as the caretaker of the baby, you need to get the baby to do a couple of things, like not eat rocks and don't poop where they shouldn't poop. You know, you gotta train them and eat your vegetables. Now, if you do this in a way that, you know, you're right, they have to do these things. So you have the right to say, eat your potatoes, or I'm gonna do something that's gonna make you regret it. You know, timeout or a slap on the wrist or some shit. But if you could make the kid enjoy it, like here comes the potatoes. Potatoes are not what you should be giving kids. Let's say carrots. Here comes the carrots. It's supposed to be a plane. Or maybe it should be a train. Doesn't matter what it is, right? And the kid's all laughing and stuff. Now when he thinks about eating vegetables, he has happy memories. And he'll eat those vegetables. He'll be 16 years old with his girlfriend on a date. And she's like, what do you want to eat? He's like, I want some carrots. And then the carrots come out. And he's all like, yo. And then he takes out his spoon. Like, and she's all looking at him like, he's weird, but it's kind of cute. I'm going to marry that guy. And then he gets laid. And then his parents find out. But you see, you know, you can get more, what was it? You get more honeys with flies than vinegar. Or what is it? You can get more sugar with flies than, well, you know what I'm saying. Alright, so that's my take on that. Thank you for commenting in the other video. Thanks for watching this video. Like, subscribe, add more comments, and have a nice Well, it's nighttime here, so it's daytime there. Have a nice day. Rhyming.